Hey guys, Captain Dylan Hubbard here at Hubbard's Marina, and it's time for that Sunday night live stream show. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. I'm Captain Dylan Hubbard here, and you're tuned in to Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard. Thanks for watching on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, on YouTube, on our multiple different Facebook pages, Trovo, Twitch. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us tonight for another episode of Sunday Night Live Stream Show. Off the Hook with Captain Hubbard. Want to give a big shout out to all of those making tonight's show and every Sunday night show possible. Remember, we're giving away over $1,500 in free stuff in the next hour. Literally, all you have to do is watch the show live on Sunday nights, comment one time, don't forget to like the video, share the video. You get a chance to win over $1,500 in free stuff. So stay tuned. Make sure you comment. Make sure you like the video. Don't forget to share it with your favorite fishing club. Subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on TikTok. Like us on Instagram. Make sure you check out Trovo, Twitch, Pinterest, LinkedIn, Snapchat. We're Snapchatting hard right now, by the way. So check out all our different pages. Sit back, relax, enjoy the show. And don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. Now, want to give a shout out to our friends over there at Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't checked our friends out at Gator Jim's Tackle, you are missing out. Great people, killer deals, huge selection. If you haven't seen our friends at Gator Jim's Tackle over at 3301 Pinellas Point Drive South in St. Pete, you are definitely doing yourself a disservice. Get in there, tell them Hubbard's Marina sent you, and if you bring a young angler with you, they get a free gift if you mention Hubbard's Marina. Now, last week, we broke records, guys. We were north of 900 people watching live between Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Trovo, and Twitch. Tonight, we're hoping to break 1,000 people. So hopefully, you're going to help us do that. Make sure you share the stream with friends. Don't forget to share at least one other person each week. Tell someone about the show. Hey, don't forget, tune in to the Sunday night show where we talk fishing, answer your questions, give away free stuff, talk about the weather, show you photos of what's going on now, what's coming up, and talk about some events, and answer your questions live. If you want one of your questions answered live, text us at the phone number at the bottom of the screen there. That's how you get your question answered live during the show. With that, I think it's time to make sure we talked about how you win free trips. How you win free trips is just commenting once on the Hubbard's Marina Facebook stream. The random name generator is going to pick your name randomly if you've commented once. And then you got to watch live, because if you're picked as one of those lucky winners, you have to then text us your full home address to the phone number on the screen within 5 minutes to prove you're watching live. So you got to comment once, then watch the show live. That's what enables you to have a chance to win. Also, want to give a shout out to all of those supporters out there who make the show possible. The supporters group definitely drives a lot of what we do and makes a lot of what we do possible. We couldn't do it without those supporters out there. So thank you for being a part of our private supporters group. It's only $4.99 a month. You get private access to our private supporters group, and you get behind the scenes connectivity, more communication, and access to our weekly after hours show. That supporters after show is a lot of fun. So thanks for being a part of our supporters group, those of you who are in the supporters group. Want to give a shout out to some of the star senders tonight. Yukimi Barker with 500 stars, Eric Seberg, Jasmine White, Rick Rogers with 1,000 stars, Sam Lang with 235, Todd Stutzman, Richard Blazak, Jeff Reedy with a big 1,200. Thank you, Jeff. Scott Flynn, Christine, and Pete. What's going on, guys? Adam Franklin with 500. Thank you, buddy. Richard Fonzo. I saw Jim Evans in there as well. Unfortunately, a few names might have dropped off on me from the beginning of the video. Unfortunately, comments went a little faster than I anticipated, so I apologize if I missed you. But thank you so much for all of those who are sending stars. It's a great way to kind of fuel the show and make what we do more possible. Again, oh, there it goes. It didn't fall on you, Josh. Nick Nieves with the big 1,200. Stephen Batchelor, what's going on, man, with the big 200. Nick sent a bunch more, so appreciate you, Nick. Rick Rogers, what's going up, my man, with a big 1,000 stars. Eric Seaberg as well. So we didn't miss anybody. Good. Thank you, Josh. For some reason, mine only showed a few. All right, so with that, let's go ahead and get into these photos. Show you guys what's going on now, what we're catching, what we're seeing, and more. Nick Nieves with 3,600 stars. You're the man, Nick. Appreciate you, man. So with the inshore photos, we're going to start inshore, then we're going to work our way near shore and offshore. And I have some big, exciting news to talk about tonight. Fishing is stupid right now. I've been telling you guys, that fishing was going to be good Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. I had no idea how good it was going to be. It has been awesome inshore this past week. The redfish action is on the move. We're seeing a lot of those nice redfish moving around quite a bit. Some pretty good size fish moving out towards the mouth of Tampa Bay. Those outer areas, the grass flats, mangrove shorelines, holding a lot of the redfish. The sheep's head bite is still going extremely well around the area. Docks, piers, bridges, jetties, rock piles, holding a lot of nice sheep's head. We're seeing the snook work their way back into the passes and on the beach. It's awesome. And really, really active snook bite, active redfish bite. We're seeing the trout back on the beaches. I met this gentleman at the kayak tournament. I was blessed to be... Lance Hall distracted me. He always likes beating Nick Nieves in the stars race, and Lance just sent 3,000 stars to upend Nick Nieves. So the race is on, Nick. What's up, Lance? How are you doing, buddy? Tim Dykes, thanks for those 600 stars. So as I was saying, I was blessed to be the MC guest at the Fishing for the Fallen kayak tournament, supporting the recently killed police officer here in Pinellas County, Michael Magley. It was, I believe this was the third tournament. It was the third tournament. So that was about 3 years ago. So it was the Michael Magley Memorial Tournament, but they changed the name to Fishing for the Fallen. So it's supporting the Policemen's Association. And then also there was donations collected that was going to send overseas to the folks. Cyrus Dooley, the main guy in charge of Real Adventures kayak fishing, so rack fishing, is going to be the one who's kind of heading up that tournament. And he is part of a unit in the Army, and he is unfortunately not with his unit because he had a bone spur that let loose in his ankle. So he's non-deployable, but his unit deployed to Syria. So not only were we raising money for the Policemen's Association, but we were collecting donations for a unit, an Army unit, in a forward operating base in Syria that was being bombed, literally, during the event. So it was pretty wild, pretty surreal, and a huge blessing. And I got to meet this gentleman, which was pretty cool. He was tearing up the redfish and did well in the tournament. So a lot of Salt Strong turnout over there at the Real Adventure Kayak Fishing Tournament. Michael and the gang did well. It was awesome. So nice big trout. Trout bite has been fired up. We're seeing the trout on the beaches, around the jetty, all the way into the passes. So a lot of trout action. Really, again, the big news on the inshore fishing front right now is 100% all about the fact that we're seeing this crossover. We're seeing the sheep's head biting really well. We're seeing the mangrove snapper biting really well. We're seeing snook pouring out of the back bays to the beaches. We're seeing redfish, trout, pompano, mackerel, black drum, jack crevalle. Literally, the inshore fishery is on fire. It's insane. And now that just leads us into nearshore and offshore. But first, before we get there, we have to recognize Christina Hall for being way cooler than Lance and upending both Nick and Lance in the Stars race tonight with the big 6,400. And a big shout out to Christina because she just picked herself up 2 brand new Daiwa Saltigas, new to her at least. So not only did she upgrade herself because she was fishing a Shimano Talica, which is a nice reel, but it's not a Daiwa. So she went from a Shimano Talica all the way up to a Daiwa Saltiga. So she is super cool in many different ways. So congratulations on stepping up to a nicer fishing reel, Christina. A lot of people are like, hey, they're the same reel. They're actually, a Shimano's more expensive in a tackle shop, but in my opinion, the Daiwa's up here. So it's really, really cool. Tim Dykes, appreciate those 600. Tiffany Brown, Craig Robinson, appreciate those stars as well. So let's get back into nearshore photos, show you guys what we're catching nearshore. Hogfish bite, still going pretty well. It's pretty impressive. The hogfish bite has slowed down a little bit. They are spreading out a little bit. They are making it a little bit more tricky, but we're catching them. We still have a few good secret hiding places that are holding some active hogfish, and still catching some pretty good size ones too. So the hogfish bite's still happening. 5-hour half day, 10-hour all day. We are catching those hogfish, but it has slowed down a little bit, but still getting them. Nice red grouper action. The red grouper bite has been fired up and has really picked up now that we have a lot of flexibility on our deep water trips. But as you can see here, the hub, the 10-hour all day, we're catching the keeper red grouper even near shore too. Look at that near shore fat red grouper on the hub private fishing charters. So been a really, really good bite. Spring has sprung. We've got the mackerel. We've got the kingfish. The deep water closure is open. Fishing is hot. 10-hour all day, 12-hour extreme. We're going to talk a little bit more about today in a second as we get to the weather. And that's it. So triggerfish are open too. So that's the end of the photos for this week. Next week, we're going to have a lot of photos. But I'm really excited. Let's jump right into the weather here and show you guys what's going on weather-wise and talk about today. Because, holy cow, when I told you guys I thought fishing was going to be good today, I didn't think it was going to be that good. It was that good today. It was insane. So definitely beautiful weather leading into a full moon. And we're really seeing it. So this is what I've been seeing setting up. And this is what I was talking about Friday on the news, Saturday on the radio show, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday on our Facebook live streams. I saw this little weather window where the wind laid down right before the full moon. And the fish lit up today, baby. It was insane. So today, just a little bit of background before we talk more about this. The 10-hour all day came in and they needed help cutting fish. They wanted 4 additional fish cutters, which is absolutely insane. So that's 6 people cutting fish because of the amount of fish that they caught, which is absolutely insane. And then the Flying Hub 2 literally caught a limit of grouper, triggerfish, and snapper. Couldn't catch any more reef fish, essentially, on the Flying Hub 2, which is incredible. So I'm pulling up the 10-hour report here because I want to see what Captain Bobby actually wrote down because I'm sure it was out of this world. Let's see here. Now, of course, it's not gonna let me go because it's April. It always gives me trouble when I'm trying to do it live, but absolutely insane amount of fish caught today on the 10-hour all day. And very, very exciting to see the numbers of fish caught on the 10-hour, the 12-hour extreme, the private charter. The half-day trip mowed them down this morning when they came in from the 5-hour half-day. It was huge stringers of fish. So literally every boat from fishing the beach on private charters to fishing 12-hour extreme waters 70 to 100 miles out. And to top it off, the 12-hour extreme only had 8 passengers. The 10-hour only had like 40 passengers. So we had light loads, plenty of elbow room, and some of the best fishing we've seen in a long time across the entire fleet of boats offshore today. And tomorrow is another nice day of weather. Tuesday, another nice day of weather. And as you can see from the weather report here, it's not getting really any nautical weather at all over the next week. I mean, today is gorgeous, about a foot. Tomorrow's even better. It's less than a foot. Tuesday, 1 foot or less. Wednesday, it gets a little breezy, but not bad. It doesn't get over 2.5 foot. Thursday, it comes out of the east, which helps. Still not over 2.5 foot. Friday, 2 foot or less. Saturday, still a confused wind, so it doesn't really build up the seas. 2 foot or less. Sunday, 2 foot or less. It finally starts to blow a little bit. Looks like there might be a potential for a little bit of a cold front there, the 11th, which is interesting. But as you can see, gorgeous weather over the next 7 days. So check out hubbardsmarina.com, and under our website, you can go down to the weather links page. That's going to bring you here. This is the wind finder forecast area that I'm looking at and showing you guys. So beautiful, beautiful weather. Fishing is hot. Weather is great. It is an awesome opportunity to get out there on the water right now, because you're missing out if you don't, because the fishing is that good right now. It is insane. So hopefully you'll get a chance to join us and catch some of these fish. Lance Hall with the big 6,400 stars. I think that brings him up to, that's 10,000 stars for Lance tonight. So he's in the lead comfortably, and Nick Nieves is nowhere to be found. I think he logged out. Now let's get into some of the gift packs. We got to give away a 5-hour half day for 2 guests tonight. We got to give away a 10-hour all day for 2 guests tonight. We got to give away a swag pack with a free hat, shirt, and sticker, and a 39-hour trip for 1 guest as well. So hopefully you guys are ready for a great show tonight. Hopefully you have some questions ready for us. We talked about what we're catching now. We talked about the weather. We got to talk a little bit about events, and then we're going to get into your questions. Remember, if you do have a question, text us your question to the phone number on the screen. And if you ask your question in the comments on Twitch, Trovo, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, the comments are going too fast. We don't get an opportunity to read them. So if you want your question answered live during the show, you do have to text it to the phone number on the screen. So let's see here what the first winner is and what we're giving away first. Let's see. What are we giving away first, Josh? 10 hour. Josh picked it. 10 hour all day for 2 guests. Let's see who the lucky winner is. Raymond Rouse. Congratulations from Titusville. The East Coast tuning in. Yeah, they want to go fishing on the right coast, the left side. Welcome, Raymond Rouse. Congratulations on your 10-hour all-day win for 2 guests. That'll get you over here, show you a little bit about what we're doing on the West Coast. So thanks for watching, Raymond. Titusville, I think, is on the East Coast, isn't it? I'm just assuming so, but I'm pretty sure that's like Southeast Coast. Titusville, Florida. It's kind of Southeast Coast. Oh, I was right. Yeah, directly east of Orlando. I do know my Florida geography a little bit. I'm getting better. But Florida's a big state, man. It's crazy. All the different little towns that we have here in Florida. When you start thinking about it, you're like, oh, I'm born and raised in Florida. There's towns that I hear to this day, and I'm like, that's in Florida? There's a lot of weird places in Florida. A lot of weird names, I should say. All right, so let's not get carried away with that. Let's get right into questions and see what you guys want to talk about. So, first question, my favorite. When does red snapper season start? June 1st. And in 2007, the same answer. June 1st. It's been the same since, I believe, 2006, maybe 2004, June 1st. So red snapper season, June 1st, has been and remains to always be June 1st. Red snapper season starts when? June 1st. And size limit still remains to be the same, hasn't changed. So the size limit, bag limit of red snapper are all still the same, which I think is 16 inches. I started making fun of it and then I blanked out. Classic. I think it's 16 though, pretty sure. So we're going to go to our website, hubbardsmarina.com, go down to fishing trips, and then go on down to more info, fishing rules and regulations. Right on our fishing rules and regulations page, you can hit view on website, or you can download this app. It's really, really easy to then click on the top, find a species. Josh is going to type in red snapper for us, and you can see here, I was right, thank God. Minimum size limit, 16 inches. You do want to double and triple, quadruple check upper right-hand corner of this website. Make sure it says Gulf of Mexico federal waters there. You can see it says federal waters. That's really important because we're looking at federal regulations. But the season length on here is super confusing. So let's see what these people say, because the season length changes all the time. Yeah, this is Gulf recreational red snapper. So we are a recreational boat, but we're federal for hire recreational. So yeah, even this is super confusing. So I understand why people ask the question all the time. So it is confusing. It is confusing. And even as you saw, I was unsure of the size limit just because we don't really pay attention to it until June rolls around. But June 1st is red snapper season. It's opened probably until I would say August 19th through 21st is my guess. But we won't know for sure until probably I would say the end of next week we'll have an idea, but we'll know for sure closer to like end of April, early May on the actual end date for red snapper. Let's see here. What's the next question? We're doing the 12-hour night mangrove snapper trip Friday night the 7th. What's the mangrove snapper limit, and what else might be biting? So our 12-hour night mangrove snapper trip is fishing federal waters. You're allowed 10 mangrove snapper per person. They got to be 12 inches. We also catch vermilions, porgies, almacos. You might see some yellowtail. We see potentially some other species as well. But primarily we're going mangrove snapper hunting and hopefully catching a handful of those mangrove snapper. The more experienced you are, the more prepared you are, the better chances you're going to have to really go after and catch successfully a lot of mangrove snapper. They're a super smart, quick biting fish. It makes it a little bit tricky to kind of dial into it. So I wouldn't go into it expecting a limit of fish, because that's going to set you up for failure. I would go into it being as though it's your first time. Maybe you don't do it a lot. Maybe you haven't fished with us before. I would go into it expecting to learn more, expecting to try to get dialed in and hopefully catch some fish and a lot of fish to make it worth it, right? But if you set your expectations in such a way, you're kind of setting yourself up for failure, right? I always go into it just hoping to have a good time and relax and get out in the water and catch some fish to eat. And if I catch a lot of fish, it's always a big bonus. Trying to go into it like, oh, how many fish can I keep? What's my upper limit of every species? Those are the folks that I see come back like kind of disappointed because they didn't totally limit out. And trying to totally limit out on every bag limit is really difficult to do, even for a super experienced seasoned angler. But a super experienced seasoned angler has a really good chance of doing that on most trips, especially like a 39-hour or 44-hour. But on a trip like a shorter trip, a 10-hour trip, a 12-hour trip, you don't have a lot of fishing time. So fishing has to be good for you to be enabled to have that opportunity. So it's a little bit tricky. Let's see what the next question is. What's your biggest catch? So we have a bunch of different catches and varieties of species that we go after. I mean, for me personally, remember some of my more notable catches was like down in Costa Rica. I went filming with the real animals, and I caught a really big, like 110-pound sailfish. I got about a 40-plus pound Dorado. A nice big Cubera snapper had to be close to 40 pounds. Right on the surface, it ate a blue runner on the surface. It's got about a big 12-foot tiger at Egmont Key before, some big gag groupers, some big mangroves. For me, though, I like going out in the overnighter and just targeting and catching as many mangrove snapper as possible. 10-hour trip, 12-hour extreme trip, 39-hour, 44-hour. You could catch me fishing a double snell rig with a chunk of threadfin, messing up the mangroves. That's what my favorite thing to do is, for sure. All right, next question. What else do we got here, Josh? It's buffering. 10 is the personal limit if per day, then 20 on an overnight trip. Yes. Yeah, everything is doubled on a 39-hour, 44-hour. You get a 2-day bag limit, so you'd be allowed 20 mangrove snapper on a 39-hour trip. That is correct. We plan to fish with you at the end of June. Can we expect to catch? What can we expect to catch? It depends on the trip. I mean, on a half-day trip, you're going to be catching some gray snapper, porgies, some Gulf perch, black sea bass, maybe some hogfish, but your chance is pretty low in June. 10-hour trip, you're getting lanes, mangroves, maybe some hogfish, plenty of gray snapper, porgies, sea bass, maybe some Gulf perch. 12-hour extreme in June. 39-hour in June, 44-hour in June, we're targeting those red snapper, those big mangroves, those yellowtails, vermilions, porgies. So lots of good opportunities for sure. But ultimately, when you say, hey, what am I going to catch? What trip are you interested in? Because that's going to dictate what you're going to have the opportunity to catch. Where are you fishing? What depth are you fishing? What area are you fishing? What trip are you fishing? If you're not fishing with us, tell me a little bit more about your trip, and I can help provide you some more value in that answer. Try to be as specific as possible is what I'm getting at, so that way I can be more helpful to you. I want to help you. I want to provide value to you for watching the show, but need help to be able to do that. Hey, man, can you have a final Friday in June on June 8th so I can fill up with the crawfish? That's a good one. So unfortunately, Final Friday is every Final Friday. So every Final Friday is Final Friday. And if you missed out on this Final Friday, you missed out uncontrollably. It was an absolutely heinous cooking event, and it was awesome. The crawfish came out really, really well. We actually had someone show up with 30 pounds of live crawfish. We had mussels, we had shrimp, we had tons of crawfish. It was a huge success. We did have a little bit of trouble to start. Unfortunately, we're having some trouble with the regulators, so the water wasn't really boiling really fast. So for like the first 30 minutes, we kind of floundered, but we got it figured out, dialed in. By the second hour, we were cooking with peanut oil, and by the third hour, we were smoking. It was great. So this Final Friday coming up in April is the 28th. That is a customer appreciation event. That is a big thank you to you guys for watching our show, for coming fishing with us, for sharing our posts on Facebook, for commenting on our posts on social media, for being a part of the Hubbard's Marina family, whether that's going fishing with us, dolphin cruising with us, just helping us spread the message on social media, telling your friends about us. We want to thank you. And the big way for us to thank you is by giving you free beer, free food, free music, and a big, huge party in Johns Pass. It's Johns Pass wide party. Final Friday. If you're not coming, you're missing out. So hopefully we'll see you this Final Friday, April 28th from 6 to 9 p.m. Eric Seberg, appreciate those 1,200 stars. Craig Robinson with another 50. Thanks, buddy. Tim McCardle, thank you as well. Appreciate all the stars tonight, guys. You really, really rock, making it possible, making it pop. Appreciate you. Let's see. Adam Wagner said, watching your dock webcam as they fillet all those fish, what do you guys do with the scraps of fish? We hold them until people are gone, pelicans are gone, and we dispose of them. We've gone through millions of different iterations on what to do with the scraps, and it doesn't really help. It doesn't really get us anywhere. And unfortunately, we've been having a big ongoing political battle with the Pelican folks, who are huge fans of Hubbard's Marina, by the way. Shout out to our supporters group. If you're in our supporters group, you know about the CMF Gang, Charismatic Megafauna Gang t-shirt coming soon to a online store near you. Probably not the Hubbard's Marina online store. Probably have to find a different one. No, we'll put it on ours, right, Josh?
On cmfgang.com.
You got to turn your mic on. But dude, it's gonna be real. Well, do we have that website? We should definitely get that website. Charismatic.
I already purchased it.
Yes. CMF Gang. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be a pelican fishing on a pier with a sabiki rig catching baby manatees with a black bear next to him with a bald eagle entangled in his sabiki rig. And then there's some random guy behind him throwing whitebait in the air. He happens to have a floppy hat and a face mask. Just so happens. It's going to be really fun. It's going to be awesome. So we have that t-shirt coming soon. It's in progress now. We have the Mayo t-shirt coming as well. If you don't have any knowledge about our Mayo t-shirt, you're missing out on that too. Shout out to the supporters, the Mayo t-shirt. The one and only true Mayo, the king of mayonnaise t-shirt. It's also going to be our fishing, how to cook fish recipe on the t-shirt too. So going to be really sweet. Not only do we have the Mayo shirt coming, but we have the CMF Gang shirt coming. And both of those will be live right here on the live stream show. So you'll have swag and apparel to purchase that is just 100% through the live show. It's going to be pretty awesome. So you guys will enjoy it. And just remember, the king of mayonnaise, Hellman's Mayo. It's the Hubbard's Marina family recipe. Dan the Fishman, there's only one true mayonnaise. And Tony Barnes was also looking for you at Final Friday, Josh. He was supposed to be bringing his Duke's Mayo t-shirt. He couldn't get it done. All right, let's see here.
For you.
Jeff Kiefer, yeah, man, Osaka is closing. That is my favorite sushi place. Super, super sad. Would have loved to see Osaka continue into perpetuity, but unfortunately, Osaka is closing, which is super, super sad, but it is one of them things, man. Stuff happens. All right, next question. Assume triggerfish are around. What rig would you use to target them? Rig type, leader, bait, hook, everything. So, me personally, I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't target triggerfish. I would fish the same way that I normally fish and catch a lot of triggerfish, is target the mangrove snapper. That double snell rig, cut the head, cut the tail, cut the head off a thread fin, trim the belly so you're left with a nice rectangular piece of meat with a nice open belly cavity, head's cut, tail's cut. Then I put my double snell rig in there, and I have a nice hydrodynamic bait. I start the first hook of my double snell rig furthest away from the lead. The first hook goes in the fatter side of the bait. Second hook is right behind it, with the second hook closer to the skinnier side of the bait. That way the skinny side of the bait is pointed at the lead as the lead drags that bait to bottom. It's nice and hydrodynamic. It doesn't spin. When it gets to bottom, it's going to lay down nice and flat. It's going to be super realistic, super nice and straight, and it's going to be ringing the dinner bell to those big mangrove snapper. I'm going to catch me a mangrove snapper. I'm going to start a little feeding frenzy. I'm going to catch a couple more mangrove snapper. And in that period, I'm going to catch a lot of other bycatch, like maybe a red grouper, maybe a triggerfish, maybe a yellowtail, a vermilion, a porgy. So I just keep fishing the same way, and then then maybe pick up the triggerfish. But Will, first mate extraordinaire, now captain. Also, it's Captain Splash now, folks. For those of you mentioning what was his name? It was Stepstool Mike Splash Baker was his name. Our first mate extraordinaire is now a 100-ton master captain. So that's Captain Splash to all of you out there listening. And to me, too. So congratulations, Captain Splash. Captain Stepstool Michael Splash Baker. His name keeps getting longer and longer. It's crazy. All right. So with that, I forget what I was talking about. But, it is time to give away another free trip. You're right, Josh. So we give away our 10-hour all-day for 2 guests. Now let's give away the Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Hubbard's Marina swag pack, that's a free Hubbard's Marina hat, free Hubbard's Marina shirt, and a Hubbard's Marina sticker mailed straight to your house. If you're the lucky winner, you not only have to give us your address, but you also have to text us your shirt size. So text us your home address and your shirt size so we can get you out a Hubbard's Marina swag pack. Lucky winner is Sonia Smedbron. What's going on? That's awesome. That's really, really cool. From Wisconsin. They've got really good beef jerky and cheese curds up there. I would know. They brought me some last time they were in town. So shout out to the Smedbron family. Congratulations, Sonia. Don't forget to send us your home address and your t-shirt size. We'll get that out in the mail to you. If you want to mail back cheese curds and beef jerky, we're cool with that too. Totally chill. Let's see here. What other question? What's the situation? So I had 2 people ask me. Oh, gosh, yeah. So someone said, what's the situation with Amberjack? I received an FWC notice this week. Does that affect federal charters? Yes. Remember, the federal for-hire season, meaning the charter boats and party boats in the Gulf of Mexico having a different season from other recreational anglers, is only applying for one species at this time, which is red snapper. So gag grouper, red grouper, amberjack, everything else, recreational, private recreational, for-hire recreational, federal recreational, everybody's tied together for every other species except for red snapper, where the seasons differ, get a little bit more confusing. This year, pretty cut and dry. Red grouper is open January 1st and should be open all year, but we went over the last 2 years and already on track to go over again. They're likely going to close in June. So red grouper is supposed to be open January 1st through the whole year, but it hasn't been in like 2 or 3 years. This year, we're probably going to see a closure in June. Gag grouper, September 1st through November 10th. Amberjack, August 1st through ? Probably no longer than September. Definitely not past October 31st. August 1st, Amberjack opens. Red snapper, definitely opening June 1st. Closure date will not be announced for another few weeks, but I would put pretty good money on the fact that federal for-hire boats like ours, it's going to be June 1st through about August 19th through 21st, somewhere in there. So that was red grouper, gag grouper, amberjack, red snapper. Triggerfish season, it's March 1st through the end of May. Then they open, if there's still quota left, August 1st and run until quota is projected to be met. Last year, they ran the rest of the year. So triggerfish opens March 1st, it's closed June and July, and then is open until the quota is projected to be met. So those are the seasons for this year. Suzanne wants to know if you'll set her rig for a overnight trip. Yeah, no problem. I'm always happy to help. If you guys want to stop by and chat, I'm always happy to take some time and chat with you guys, help you set up a rod and reel, look at a rod and reel for you, help you pick out a rod and reel in the shop. I'm there to help you guys because I wouldn't be there if it wasn't for you guys. That's why we do these shows. I'm here to help you. This show enables me to help more of you at once. We're right now between Facebook and YouTube. We don't know how many are on Trovo, Twitch, and TikTok, but right now we're almost to 300 live viewers. Last week we had 600 live viewers on TikTok. So hopefully between Trovo, Twitch, and TikTok will be somewhere around 600-700, because that means we'll have hit our goal of talking to 1,000 people live. Pretty awesome. Let's see here. That is pretty cool. Tony did one fast. We'll share that in the supporters group, Tony. Let's see, what other questions do we have? What was the catch on the slow pitch jigging 12-hour extreme trip last week? Unfortunately, that was canceled due to weather. It puffed up there the second half of last week. We got out there midweek, early week, and then all of a sudden weather kind of took a turn. Plus, the slow pitch jigging trips have been a little weak, so hopefully those get a little bit more interest so we can keep doing those. All right, let's see what our next question is. How's our trespasser? I don't know. She just got checked into the jail, trespassed from the property, so who knows?
Hopefully she's dried off.
Hopefully she's not as sandy as she once was. Going to the Keys in late July, renting a boat. Any tips for catching yellowtails in the Gulf side? I would stop and talk to a local tackle shop. That's going to be your best bet. Or potentially go and charter a guide 1 or 2 days, and then ask them, and then they'll point you in the right direction for you to then rent a boat your 3rd or 4th day. But just be up front with people and be like, hey, I'm trying to learn how to fish down here. I'm renting a boat, and they'll be more than happy to point you in the right direction, especially at tackle shops, because tackle shops are incentivized to make sure you have a good experience, because then next time you come down, you're going to stop and get bait and tackle from them and head out fishing again. So local tackle shops, if you're going to a new place that you've never fished before, my one suggestion is hopefully you're a Salt Strong member, because this right here is one of my favorite things that I check pretty religiously. We used to have this on our website page, but unfortunately it's not open to the public anymore. Where is it? Oh, the top. There it goes. So this is Smart Fishing Tides by Salt Strong. They have a huge fishing app now. It's called Smart Fishing Spots. This is all tied into their Smart Fishing Spots app, but I don't want to show you that because we would be here all night walking through all the cool tools that it has. But Smart Fishing Spots is really cool because it just gives you an overview. So for the Keys, you could look at different bridges and you could know, all right, so just glancing at this, I know fishing is going to be really, really good Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Wednesday looks like a really good day based on the area I'm looking, which is Johns Pass. So this doesn't hold true offshore of Johns Pass, but it holds true in this tidal area because it's looking at tides and weather and tying all those things together. And then it goes down further. It shows you the tide for the day, and then it shows you hourly when the best bite is going to be. So it's really cool because, like, say, for example, I know, all right, so Tuesday I'm going to go down and fish Johns Pass. So Tuesday, there's the tides Tuesday, and then I know, all right, if I'm going to fish Johns Pass at Tuesday, I want to be there at 7 a.m., and I want to fish all the way till 10 a.m. If I don't catch a fish from 7 to 10 a.m., I'm not going to catch a fish the rest of the day, really, because that fishing is going to be best between 7 and 10 a.m. inside Johns Pass on that incoming tide based on the full moon and the water temperature and all those other variables that go into that algorithm. So that's a really cool tool to use. Smart Fishing Spots has that. There's a few other things on the website. I forget, I'm blanking on the other name. But there's a few of them that look at the salooners, the majors, the minors, the weather, and kind of tie it all together to show you a little bit better of a granular look at a tidal station when the fishing is going to be best. So it's pretty cool. And then use Google Maps. Google Maps is a huge secret weapon for a lot of people. Even tournament fishermen go into a new area. The satellite view of Google Maps is huge. That's why the Smart Fishing Spots app that the Salt Strong people have is so cool, because it's an app that is Google Maps satellite view, and then it'll highlight the grass flats, it'll highlight the oyster bars, it'll highlight the pockets and cuts. It'll highlight areas that you should fish or target. And it uses that algorithm, and it'll show you topographical maps of different bays. It's pretty cool, man. The technology that's in your phone nowadays. Because I remember when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old in my little skiff and fishing kayaks, I would pull out my smartphone and I would use Google Maps, and you could tell which way you're looking, and you could use the satellite view and find out where you are in relation to that grass flat. And my smartphone in my kayak was as good as having a full-on GPS plotter. And it's crazy. And that was early before everybody figured that out. Now everybody does that all the time, and it's like a thing. But that was cutting edge back then when smartphones came out and Google Maps came out. Google Earth was the first one. People figured that out. I learned it from someone. I forget. I think it was at a fishing seminar. I learned a lot at going to fishing events, listening to other people. Once you think you've learned it all, is the day you die, because trust me, you will never learn it all. It's amazing. There's so many intelligent people out there that know their niche so well. It's really cool to listen to someone like that speak, because you always pick up something. Where was I? Did we have a question about red tide? Is that why you have this up? Red tide question is next. So red tide, it's still a thing. It always has been and always will be a thing. So statewide, the sample map was looking really, really positive. And it was really kind of getting better and better up and down the coast. It seems to be picking up a little bit along the coastline again, especially down south around Port Charlotte. We see some reds. Around St. Pete, Pinellas County, we still have some oranges. We still have a few yellows. If you go to the forecast map, this doesn't seem right. Yeah, there you go. So if you go to the forecast map, there's still some oranges around. There's some yellows around. So it has gotten a little bit more pronounced around the area, but still unnoticeable in our area. What's really, really crazy is our bait is still alive at the dock. We still have white bait in Johns Pass. We still have birds diving in the pass. We don't have the coffin in the throat. It's crazy. It's crazy. So we still have red tide around. It's still in pretty decent concentrations, but it is unnoticeable, and it's remained unnoticeable for the last month. So we have live bait. We have plenty of good opportunities to catch plenty of fish inshore, nearshore, and offshore. We're not being affected by red tide, but is it still around? Yes. Riddle me that. I don't know. Someone's patching their tire. I'm sorry, David. Oh, doing the brakes. It's even worse. That's terrible. But at least you can listen to the show, right? Still listen to the show. I have a face for radio anyway. Let's see, what other questions do we have? Do they have a set opening date for red snapper fishing around Mexico Beach in North Florida? So if you're going on a charter boat and party boat, anywhere in the Gulf, from Brownsville, Texas to Key West, it is the same set open date, June 1st. If you are fishing from a private recreational boat, meaning your boat or a buddy's boat, where no money or any consideration whatsoever is exchanging hands, then you're under a private recreational season, which is different for each state. But it will be the same if you're fishing Mexico Beach, Florida, or you're fishing Key West, Florida. So very, very tricky on the old red snapper front. Tiffany Brown, Larry White, appreciate those stars, guys. Thank you so much. Next question, which is a great one. Is it better to bring your own rod or rent one? Great question. Yes and no. So the renting your own rod is awesome, or bringing your own rod is awesome if you have specialty tackle that works really well. If you're an experienced angler that has your own invested tackle that you spent $200, $300, $400 on, it's going to be nicer than our tackle. The rods that we have are nice rods and reels. They're going to retail for every bit of $250, $300, but they're rental rods and reels. They do a little bit of everything well. They're a little heavier because they have to stand up to daily abuse. They are used, so they're not going to be poor quality. We invest a lot of money. We get new rods. We just put 85 new rods and reels into service just the other day. So we are constantly switching them out every 5 to 7 months. They're nice combos, but they are a little bit heavier. They do a little bit of everything well. They're not high-end specialty reels. If you have a reel that you spent $300 on and it's on a $200 rod, that's going to be nicer than one you could rent. So to answer the question, should I rent a rod or should I bring my own? It depends. If yours is your grandfather's rod that's been in the garage for a year and it's got, or 5 years, and it's got Dacron line on it and it's got a line counter and the rod's heavier than a 10-pound dumbbell, might want to rent one. If yours is a freshwater reel with 5-pound test on it, you might want to rent one. If it's a 12-aught reel and you're going on a half day, you might want to rent one. So it depends. What I always tell people is bring your rod with you. Bring it down to the shop. What can hurt? Throw it in the truck. Bring it with you. Show up. Ask for me. Ask for one of the dock masters. Ask for a crew. We'll look at your rod. If we're like, you might be better off renting one, it's $9 on a half-day trip, on a 10-hour trip. $9, you can rent a rod and reel. It's going to come with all your tackle. And then throw your rod back in the truck. No harm, no foul. But if we look at your rod and reel and say, hey, that works, bring that one, then all you have to do is grab a few leads and tackle in the shop. You're ready to fish. So I would always encourage you to just bring your rod and reel with you. And if it works, it works. If it don't work, we can always get you set up. All right, so next question. It is time to give away our next free trip, Josh is telling me. So we gave away our 10-hour all day, and we did the swag pack. So it's time to give away our 5-hour half day for 2 guests. 5-hour half day for 2 guests. Lucky winner is Estelle Wolfman. Congratulations, Estelle, on the lucky win from a 5-hour half day for 2 guests. That's awesome.
She's at work.
Yeah. Hello from Bass Pro. I feel like she shouldn't be watching a live show while she's working.
I mean, it's fishing related.
It's fishing adjacent, I guess. She's probably got an AirPod in while she's folding clothes in the clothing section. She's working her way to the fishing department. She's probably already there. I know she was getting filled in already. Congratulations, Estelle. Nice win. Let's see here. Oh, we can answer that one. I don't care. So the Double Eagle in Clearwater Beach started offering 20-hour trips for red snapper season last summer. Left about 5 p.m. and came back around noon, something like that. Will you be offering anything like that? No, because a 20-hour trip, you can't get a 2-day bag limit, and you need more than 2 paid captains. So in our business model, that doesn't make any sense because of the way our schedule is laid out to maximize the number of trips that we offer, because we're blessed to have a lot of demand. A 20-hour trip wouldn't fit into our schedule nicely, and to pay 2 of our captains is very expensive. Because we pride ourselves on having a really great team, right? And a really great team comes from paying them extremely well. And I pride ourselves and our company on having the best team. So we pay the best in order to have the best team. So it then makes ticket prices a little bit more difficult, especially if we have 2 paid captains on the boat. On a 39-hour trip, we're paying our captains quite a bit of money. So to have 2 of them there is expensive. So in order to have a trip greater than 12 hours, we have to have 2 paid captains. We have to have sleeping quarters, which a lot of boats don't really follow those CFRs or those Code of Federal Regulations as closely. I'm not saying Double Eagle, but I'm saying other boats out there in the Gulf. So it makes it really difficult to offer a trip greater than 12 hours. And that's why we don't offer anything between 12 and 39 hours, because A, it doesn't fit into our schedule. B, it doesn't really make financial sense for you as an angler, because the trip has to be longer than 30 hours to get a 2-day bag limit. So why offer a 20-hour trip for us at Hubbard's Marina, at least, because we're going to have to charge a lot of money for it, and you only get a single day bag limit, and you only get a handful of fishing time. Whereas we can jump to a 39-hour, you get a lot more fishing time. We can run the boat slower, so we burn less fuel and thus can charge you less money. So a 39-hour would actually be the same cost as a 20-hour trip, because on a 20-hour trip, I'm going to burn more fuel running harder, still have to have 2 captains, still have to have 2 crews, still have to have a galley cook. So I'm going to take the same 5 people and pay them the same amount to run that 20-hour trip and burn more fuel doing it, because I have to run the boat harder and faster and more wear and tear on the vessel. So it just doesn't add up to our business model. Now, if you like that trip with Double Eagle, you found a trip you like, you found a company you like, more power to you. They're good people. They do a good job up there, but just different. Everybody has their own favorite, right? So check it out. Let's see, what other questions do we have? What's the old saying? Fish just before front, wait a couple days after to fish again. Yeah, generally, fishing is going to be best right up until a front comes through, and then a few days after when the water comes down. So let's see. Our website at hubbardsmarina.com. Even if you don't fish with us, if you fish on one of your buddies' boats or a different boat, you can always use our website. It's got a lot of helpful information. Under fishing trips, hit weather links. And on the weather links page, right at the bottom, we have this video on how weather affects fishing. And we go into detail, extreme, excruciating detail on exactly that question about how to fish the timing around the fronts. And you want to fish right up before a front and a few days after a front, for sure, for the best fishing opportunities. Let's see, what's our next question here? They sent a video from the Sunset Cruise. Awesome. What happened to gag grouper season? Did it change? Yes, gag grouper season did change. As we mentioned earlier, it's going to be this year, September 1st through November 10th. 2024, the season is still not set, but likely it will be close or similar to September 1st to November 10th. And the reason we did that is because, we didn't do that. The reason they did that is because of the recent gag grouper stock assessment, which showed the number of male gag grouper to female gag grouper, the ratio is off. Historically believed to be somewhere between 17 to 30% male to female ratio is now 2 to 6%. So there's a huge, huge drop in the number of productive male gag grouper. Remember, gag groupers start life as female, and a lot of the females come inshore in the cooler months. So October, November, December, when we get that really good inshore gag grouper bite, those are almost all female gags coming inshore, fatten up, get nice and healthy, and then they go out into deep water where those big males are, and they do their spawning thing in aggregation sites. And unfortunately, the belief, the scientific discussion is nowadays, with bigger, faster, smarter fishermen going further from shore and faster boats with better technology, electric reels, spot lock, GPS trolling motors, side scan, strike lines, charts, all this cool technology, which makes fishing a lot easier, is also making it a lot easier to go out there and kill and target those big male gag grouper really, really easily. So that has been the belief as to why we're having issues with the gag grouper populations and the discrepancies between male and female gag grouper. So that is why the gag grouper season changed. The person who asked that question about the 20-hour trips wasn't watching the show. Classic. That's funny. So they didn't hear any of the discussion. Well, hopefully they'll catch the show later. What is the state and federal mile limits? If you catch something in federal waters, how do you prove if you get stopped coming back in? Great question. People ask me that a lot. So State waters in the Gulf of Mexico in Florida extend to 9 miles. So if you're fishing in state waters, there's one regulation. If you're fishing in federal waters, like for example, mangrove snapper, state waters, they have to be 10 inches. You're allowed 5. Federal waters, they have to be 12 inches. You're allowed 10. So if you have 10 mangrove snapper in state waters, you're in trouble. If you have 10 mangrove snapper in federal waters, as long as you have a Gulf state reef fish permit, and you're not on a charter boat, which would require you to have a federal reef fish permit on the boat. If you're just fishing your own private boat or with a buddy, you're allowed 10 mangroves per person, 12-inch minimum size limit in federal waters. But if you have a federal limit on the boat, you cannot stop in state waters. What I would suggest is store all your fishing stuff. Put the rods down, put them up in rod holders, cut the rigs off them if you want. Really, cutting the rigs off them is smart anyway if you're going to run inshore in a center console, because you don't want those leads bouncing all the way home. So cutting the lead off them is a good idea, or securing the leads, whatever you got to do. Secure your tackle, stow your tackle, and do not stop in state waters. So if you're in 12 miles from shore fishing federal waters and you're heading home, if you stop and fish in state waters with a federal limit on the boat, you're going to be in trouble if you get stopped. You can stop in state waters on the way out, fish for bait, and catch your fish, and then head out into federal waters, no problem. You would want to follow federal regulations. But if you catch federal waters fish, you cannot stop in state waters and then get stopped and be like, oh, I was fishing federal waters. No, now you're fishing state waters, bud. So don't stop in state waters. That will help you solve that problem. Is your hat part of the swag pack? I like my hat. This is a Temple Reef hat. They make the Temple Reef rods. They have, I believe, some jigs now as well, but they make the Temple Reef Nabla and Mythos slow pitch jigging rods that I have, and they gave me this hat at iCast, and I really like it. But normally I'm in my Gator Jim's hat, but at the crawfish boil, I was sweating. I was eating a lot of crawfish. My face was pouring sweat. My glasses kept falling off. My hands were covered in crawfish. So I had someone help me pull my hat back, and I set it on the ground like a dummy and peeled out of there and forgot. After I cleaned up, took the trash, was spraying stuff down, I just got busy and hopped in my truck. And luckily the boys caught it for me, and it's at the office somewhere with my glasses, but unfortunately didn't get it today, so I'm rocking my backup hat. So one more question before we wrap this up. We are out of state. What type of fishing license do we need for your half-day trip tomorrow? None. If you're fishing saltwater in the state of Florida and someone asks you to get a fishing license, run. That is an illegal fishing charter. If you pay compensation or any consideration to go fishing in the state of Florida in salt water, you should be covered under the boat's license. Whether it's state water, back bays, inshore fishing, if you fish state waters and compensation or consideration is exchanged, you do not need a license. You're covered under the charter license in the state of Florida, and you would not need a license. So you don't need a license for a half-day fishing trip, to answer your question. All right, so we talked about the weather. We talked about what's coming up. Events. I'm glad I remembered that. So April 28th is the big event. That's Final Friday in April. If you're not there, you stink. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, join us. It's a free party for you, by you, thanking you for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. So join us. Free food, free drinks, a lot of good times. So hopefully we'll see you there. April 23rd, 2 p.m. April 23rd, 2 p.m. Mark it down in your calendar. We're going to be at Bass Pro Shops Tampa, talking fishing, answering questions. That is our Bass Pro Shops fishing conversation, April 23rd, 2 p.m. Every Sunday night, except for Easter Sunday, we'll be here for our live stream show. So that's right. Next week, a week from today, is Easter Sunday. So next week, a day, 7 days from today, is Easter Sunday, and we will not be live. So we are live every Sunday night right here at 7:30 p.m., except for Easter Sunday. We will be at home with family, so no live stream show next week, Easter Sunday. So I will miss you, and I will try to survive, but we will have to take 1 week off. You know, we've been doing this show since 2016. Isn't that crazy? That's crazy to me. That's 7 years we've been doing this live stream show. It's amazing. It's amazing. I mean, it's been weekly now for at least 5 years. So 5 times 5, it's 250 shows. Crazy. We're probably pushing over 300 episodes of this live stream show. Pretty amazing. So
we have to do something special for our 300th episode then.
Yeah. Well, the big thing that's coming up is in about 5 years, we're going to have the 100-year celebration for Hubbard's Marina. Yeah. We're going to be a century old. 1928 we started from rowboats with cane poles. So it's been a while. It's been a while. Before we wrap up, big shout out to Daryl Johansson and Larry White and everyone else who sent stars tonight, especially Christina Hall, Lance Hall, and Nick Nieves with the leading 1, 2, and 3. I think Lance was first. Sorry, Christina. But leading star senders tonight. Big shout out to Gator Jim's Tackle, 3301 Pinollas Point Drive South in St. Pete. If you haven't checked them out, definitely do so. Great people over there. Check us out Friday morning, 8:15 a.m. every Friday morning at Fox 13 News. Every Saturday morning, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m., our Real Animals radio show. Every Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. for our live stream show. Check us out every morning around sunrise on TikTok and Instagram. Every morning around 8 a.m., we see the boats go out on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. So every morning around 8 a.m., Facebook, YouTube, Twitch. Every morning around sunrise, Instagram and TikTok. Catch us live every Sunday night. We're here, except for Easter Sunday. Y'all have a great night. Don't forget, if you're a supporter, if you're part of our supporters club, which hopefully you are, if you aren't, it's only $4.99 a month. It's a great way to help us fuel more live shows. And you get behind-the-scenes access and a lot more connectivity and communication. So think about becoming a supporter. It's only $4.99 a month. If you're a supporter, our Supporters After Show is going to start at 8:50 p.m. So join us for the Supporters After Show. And with that, let's give away our last free trip of the night, the 39-hour trip for one guest. That is a $500 value coming at you. Let's see who the lucky winner is. There he is, Willie Munoz. Congratulations, my brother. That is a supporter and a Hubbard's Marina family right there, baby. They come out, all 3 or 4 kids. I think they got 4 kids. And they come out to Bass Pro Shops. They come out to our Bartow Ford fishing conversations. They come out to Final Friday. They come out fishing with us on our 5, 10, 39-hour trips. Pretty awesome stuff. Great family. Really happy they got one. So congratulations on that 39-hour. Know you guys are going to put that one to use. So congratulations, Munoz family. They're also supporters. Both father and son are in the supporters group, so that's awesome. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, hanging out with us. Happy Sunday night, y'all. Fishing is dumb hot right now. If you're not on the water, inshore, near shore, offshore, you're missing out. Fishing's going to be really good tomorrow, really good Tuesday. Great opportunities to get out there on the water. Don't forget, if you're too busy to go fishing, you're just too darn busy. We'll see you soon at Hubbard's Marina. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being a part of our Hubbard's Marina family. Don't forget this week, tell one person about our live stream show. We'll see you next week with your one friend. That's all we ask. One friend. Bring us one friend. Don't forget to like and share things we post through the week and comment so it keeps showing you the Hubbard's Marina stuff. Let's see who the lucky winner is of... Oh, we already did the 39-hour. Just kidding. Almost did a second one. You almost got me there. Weren't quite quick enough. See you guys. Happy Easter. We'll see you in 2 weeks.